I'm going to do a quick little tutorial here on panning in Logic Pro. This is kind of what I do. You see I've got my reference tracks here. And if you listen on headphones, you can really hear the panning. So what I did was I went through, listened to a few of my reference tracks, and on a piece of notebook paper, I wrote down where everything was panned. And you can see I've kind of already gone through here, and I just panned on the buses. So you can... So what I did was a lot of old soul music, or early soul music, panned the drums a little bit away from the bass, which I think is a great idea because you can EQ to kind of get those two instruments out of each other's way, the kick and the bass, but panning also helps. And so I went ahead and I panned my drum bus. As you can see here, let me get to it. There it is. Right here, a little bit to the right, not heavy, about 2 o'clock to the right here. And then I took the bass and kicked it a little more over to the left. And that, I was also using it to kind of adjust the volume overall. You can also, for instance, I've got all these wah guitars. I just put all the guitars here, all my rhythm tracks that I played. And there's some clean stuff in here too, but for instance, there's this clean kind of rhythmic track happening, and I just panned that severely to one side because it's not that needed, I don't think, in this part of the song, but it's still there. Like if you're wearing headphones and once I continue on the mix, hopefully you'll be able to hear that kind of really lightly in the background, and that'll add a little bit to this song. It'll give it a little bit of lift, a little bit of push, because this is the outro of the song. And really nothing is affected. Maybe some of the MIDI instruments are affected. I noticed that harp on the pickup had some reverb on it, but actually I should have done this a little shorter. So basically I just looped the loudest part of the song, which is right here, and just let it repeat and panned and messed with and kept, moving the levels and going back to my reference tracks, listening. So, and also the big clutch thing for me was sticking this UAD Pultec EQP1A on the mix bus. That really helped kind of separate things a little bit, give a little more glossiness to the high end, so it had a little more clarity, but also kept that low that I wanted. So as you can see, I'm kind of using these Aretha Franklin songs. Now, so it's getting there. It's you also have to keep in mind that all these reference tracks that you're using have been mastered. So don't let that mess with your mind too much. You're really just trying to get comparable levels to the reference tracks that you're using. So that's all I got so far. Again, I use all the mix buses to pan with. So you can see I've got the harmony, all the harmonies across here in pink, and I just use the harmony bus to pan them over to the left side. I've got one guitar part that was Russell Scanlon's, and I think pretty key part to the outro of this song. So I have panned that separately from the wah guitars. That just seems to be what's working for me. Um, and also, if you notice a lot when you're listening to your reference tracks, depending on what style you're in, but I notice a lot the early soul music, it's not always completely balanced. And I think that's super cool. So, once again, this is, it's not a rocket science, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But, it's worth taking a little bit of time and nudging things around a little bit to, where you're getting, where you feel like you're getting close to those reference tracks. And now I'll be spending a lot of time on the vocals, getting those nice and sweet sounding and right on the money. So that's it. That's my little tutorial on panning. It's worth noting too that in the beginning, what I did is I first went and got all the balances in mono. Very important. I should have probably led with that. Start with mono and then loop the loudest part of your song. Start with mono. You can do that by putting this gain plugin, which is in Logic, and basically, let me pull you down here. You see here it's got mono off and on. So you might want to listen on headphones with this so you can really hear the difference. You can also put the same plugins on your reference tracks and also put those in mono while you are getting your balance. And balance, then start to pan, because that's also going to help create your balance and spaciousness in your song. All right. Hope that helps. Stay tuned. I will be posting more things as I go along and learn myself. Y'all take care.